Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kid-Lee, and this is episode 55 of the TOR Report. We have a big show this week. Star Wars Celebration kicked off a few days ago with big news on Star Wars The Force Awakens and Star Wars Battlefront. Then, last night, the devs at BioWare kicked off the Anaheim Community Cantina Tour. I will start with all of the Star Wars The Old Republic news, then work into the other stuff later in the show. In this week's news, BioWare has announced that Yavin 4 will be the next planet that will receive a Stronghold. The images on screen are from the Anaheim flash drive. You can see the lush jungles of Yavin 4 and some nice waterfalls. This should make for a very scenic new Stronghold location. In addition to the flash drive, people were also given these bracelets. On one side of the bracelet, it said #Fallen Empire, and on the other, it gave the date of 6/15/15. Along with this, BioWare released this screenshot that says, "Hidden away in the dark of the galaxy, remained a secret." The devs then posted on Twitter saying there's more to this image than it seems. As it turns out, this image is a fake. Well, of sorts. It's a zip file that is masquerading as a PNG file. Change the file extension, do a quick repair, and you get this image. We have what appears to be a throne room on a space station or ship with a massive fleet in the background. Fallen Empire appears to be the name of the next expansion. As for the date of 6/15/15, that is E3 week. I believe that this is going to be the date of the EA press event where all of this is going to be unveiled. A few other things were announced during the dev panel. The ×12 class bonus experience is coming back as part of the May 4th celebration. This will be for subs only, and it seems they are going to let it run for quite some time. On a future update, they will be making even more changes to the travel systems in-game. When you land on a planet, you will auto-unlock all of the flight paths. The bind points will now unlock simply when you get close to them. I'm sure there's going to be a proximity of some description, but they didn't really announce how close that really is. But did say that you no longer have to click on them. The devs alluded to new companion stories and gameplay in the future. And finally, as I'm sure many of you know, there is currently an issue with melee DPS on many of the new operation bosses. The dev Q&A team has been tasked with beating all of the bosses with an all-melee DPS group for current and future content. They wanted to do this to make sure that things are more balanced going forward. Let's go ahead and move on to some dev chat. There are some big class changes that are coming as part of Game Update 3.2.1. Once again, the Sorks and Sages are seeing a big change. For Consumption and Noble Sacrifice, they are being redesigned. They now consume 10% of your maximum health to restore 200 force. Additionally, they now have a 3-minute cooldown. At the moment, I think it's a little too soon to tell if this is going to be a change for the good or the bad. So we will have to wait and see on that one. The Resolve system will be seeing some changes in 3.2.1 as well. While on full resolve, players will now receive a 50% slow in place of any effect that would normally immobilize them. This slow effect has the same duration and conditions as the immobilize effect that would occur under the normal conditions. For example, if the immobilize can break early when damage is taken, then so can the slow that it replaces. Immobilizing effects still do not regenerate resolve. They simply react differently when they encounter a target that has a full resolve bar. These changes only apply to the PvP combat. And finally, we have a small update on the random speeder mount button. The devs have now said, this is something we have and will continue to look into. However, at this time, we do not have any additional information on the status of it. Well, at least they're looking into it, right? Let's move on to what's new. The devs have announced a new mount that will be added to the cartel market down the road. This mount is basically the General Grievous mount from Episode 3. This past week, we have also seen the first movie tie-in object make it into the game. The speeder from the first Force Awakens trailer is now on the cartel market. I think we will see a few more down the road. BB-8, the new droid, I can see him as a new pet, and of course the new lightsaber I think will make it in at some point as well. Let's talk about Star Wars Celebration a little bit. A bunch of big news came out of this event, including the second trailer for The Force Awakens. It's been really cool over the last few days to watch some of the panels, seeing the old cast, and seeing all the cosplay, among other things. There are a few moments that I would like to talk about here real quick. During the opening event, Kathleen Kennedy, who is basically in charge of Star Wars now, made some very interesting comments about how they are doing what they can to listen to the fans. They know they can't please everyone, but they are going to try their best. Unlike other companies, they fully support the fan films and all of the fan projects that are being made. I think it's really great of them for doing that. They are not trying to shut these things down like other companies are. Also, during the opening event, they showed a live tech demo of BB-8. It's a really cool new technology they are using with this droid. I have went ahead and placed a link below this video if you want to see that little demo they did. There was another really cool moment when Ian McDiarmid, aka the Emperor, did a live reading on stage, so I'll go ahead and I'll post that link as well. Definitely check that out. It was pretty cool stuff. Let's move on to Star Wars Battlefront. This is a game that I am quite concerned about, even after everything that has now been revealed. DICE has only had the IP for this game for about a year. They are really trying to rush it out. During celebrations, they released the first full trailer for the game, and they announced a few details. So let's go over the good and the bad. The game is going to look very nice. It's going to run the Frostbite 3 engine, so it's probably going to be one of the best looking shooters out there. It will feature both a first and third person views, so I know a lot of people are really happy about that. The first DLC, which is called the Battle of Jakku, will be free for everyone. Now, on the downside, there is no single player campaign. There are no space battles. At launch, there are only 4 planets: Tatooine, Endor, Hoth, and Sullust. So the game is leaving a lot to be desired. The no single-player campaign kills the game for a lot of people. I guess we can only hope that Battlefront 4 will have a lot more features and the content that we are looking for. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will go ahead and do it for this week's episode of the TOR Report. And of course, if you have any questions for future shows, send questions to kidleeasf@gmail.com or send me a message on Twitter or YouTube. I didn't want to do any Q&A this week because I thought there was enough news. I'd go ahead and throw that segment out for a week, but we'll go ahead and pick it up again next week with all of your questions. But thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for my continuing coverage on Star Wars The Old Republic, among other games. And with that being said, everybody keep playing and have fun.